Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Don Thomas back again with another video. And here you have it, folks. Let's get into it, man. Apple had an event today. Their annual revealing of technologies. And this one in particular was one for the ages. Why? They have finally announced groundbreaking new technology. Not the first to do it, but of course, one of the best to do it, I feel like, in my personal opinion. Their VR headset, which is called the Vision Pro, the Apple Vision Pro. Now, guys, of course, you might be wondering, well, what does this have to do with anything, right? I wanted to speak on this one because I'm somewhat of a nerd and infatuated with some levels of technology. But I thought it was only fair that, as I mentioned, of course, the series or the theme that might be consistent on this channel is my distrust and distaste for AI technology and my skepticism and things of that nature. But I've always said I'm a fan of technological advances. I'm a fan of cool little gadgets and things like that as well, too. So to combat that, yeah, this is not necessarily AI. I'm sure it'll have its, implementations as well, too. But this is a solid piece of hardware, a cool gadget in the tech space that I am 100% infatuated with. I think this is cool. So AR, augmented reality, mixed reality, whatever you want to call it. This headset's being considered a computer, a spatial computer, primarily used for entertainment, collaborative settings, working, of course, things of that nature. Again, Apple does always a phenomenal job, I feel like, of the actual hardware of products. Usability is always user-friendly, things of that nature, and I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Now, couple initial thoughts, right? Of course, I still got to throw my my skepticism here and there. One thing, all right, let's start with the things that I like. What do I like about it? The design is pretty cool. Hands down, it's pretty cool. I like it. Apple, again, one-on-one, when it comes to actual hardware devices, pretty cool. I like it. What else do I like about it? From the capabilities that it's, alleging that it will have, video conferencing, being able to watch movies and television shows and feel like you are in the actual setting, right? So immersive experiences when it comes to your streaming, experiences in terms of watching movies, watching TV shows, things of that nature. It seems to be pretty cool. What else? A lot of just, cool gadgets, things that, of course, the iPhone can do itself as well, too. But again, with this full specs and the details, of course, I'll probably be displaying some of these as I'm speaking. All around, it just looks like a cool product. For lack of a better word, it just looks like a cool product. My skepticism, or what are some things that I don't like? 100% the price point. All was well. If you notice, I was actually I was watching the segment as they were speaking. And of course, they led with all the features and the benefits, and they were talking. And as I'm watching, I'm just like, but how much does it cost? Right? Oh, it does this and that. But how much does it cost? Oh, man, this. Oh, look at that. It's going to allow you to do. But how much does it cost? Right? So, of course, they held it to the very end. They revealed it to us that this thing is set to be priced at $3,500 US American dollars, which for me, of course, tells me I was not the ideal. I was not the person they had in mind when they set that price point, right? So clearly, this is, again, I'm not trying to get into like classism and this, that, and the other, but this is for a certain demographic. There's some people who heard that price and didn't bat an eye. There's some people out there, and kudos to you if that's your situation. If you have, found yourself in a financial bracket where $3,500 for a headset is nothing to you, congratulations. For me, and many others like me, even if I had it, I feel like even if I had a free $3,500 laying down, I'm not too sure what I'm getting at is basically saying, like, I don't know if, it's going to have a lot of capabilities. I don't know if it warrants $3,500 of hard-earned money. I think a lot of things that what $3,500 could go to, $3,500 is a vehicle, right? For some people, right? $3,500 is a couple months rent, depending on where you live, what are the cases. $3,500 is a lot of things. Is it a headset, for primarily leisure? Like, honestly, I'm not seeing as I was going through the, the specs and the gadgets and things of that nature, all the capabilities of this headset, I'm not really seeing what the average regular person would use this for in terms of just like, yeah, it's its own separate experience, right? It's nothing like watching a regular TV. It's nothing like using a laptop. It's nothing like using your phone. So, yeah, I feel like it could be of wide use for a lot of people, but for day-to-day usage, for that price point, I'm not seeing what the regular person, is going to be using this for. As opposed to the person that, is maybe working, who does this for work. Like ideally, like best case scenario for me, I would love to work at an establishment that uses this as their primary means of communication, right? So jobs, which I'm sure is going to happen in the future, jobs will probably start, especially in that tech space or a lot of different spaces. I see a world where they'll start giving you that option, right? So they'll start, some places now, they'll send you a laptop, a mobile phone, what are the cases, depending on what sector you work in, what are the cases. But I do see this as an object that will start being sent to employees of certain companies because I do see the collaborative benefits of how this is going to work within the workspace. So I do think it is, creatively speaking, work-wise, I do think it's a very cool gadget. At $3,500, I'm not too sure. I would probably have thought somewhere between 2,000. If you think about it, like they also announced the MacBook Air, which I believe was like what? 1,500 for a 15-inch, what are the cases? Apple products are pretty expensive. We all know that. I would have thought this to be at somewhere, maybe 2,000, maybe 2,500, maybe 3,000 max, and that's even pushing it. But 3,500, Apple, this really got to make me feel like I'm there. I want to be behind the director. I want to be. I mean, there was a lot of things that really does show. Like, this is, again, technology that we probably haven't been privy to yet. There's been other headsets and things of that nature as well too. But I think this one, of course, Apple would be leading the way, as they usually do when it comes to gadgets and things of that nature. So ultimately, not really much to discuss here, folks. You don't really have to deliberate. I think, honestly, it's a slow day at the newsroom. I'm not going to lie. There hasn't been a lot of things that I care to really speak on. Honestly, if you really notice, man, I don't really read off cue cards. If you notice, man, I speak on things that I'm passionate about, right? That's the only way I can actually do this thing, man. If I'm not moved or feel like this is either irrelevant to me or irrelevant, I'm sure there's always going to be news that's relevant to somebody out there. But when it comes to this, for me, it's easier for me when I actually care about the topic. So as of late, there hasn't been really topics that I care to speak on or that I'm that passionate about to even voice. So it is a bit of a slow day at the newsroom for me personally. But again, I'm kind of a nerd. I like gadgets. And again, as I mentioned before, I'm not anti-technology. I'm not I like things like this. Again, I don't see this, and I would even probably advise as well too. I don't see myself purchasing this. I think it's going to be readily available sometime early next year. I still don't see me purchasing it then. And then honestly, certain gadgets like this, being that it's, kind of one of its kind. Yeah, there's other headsets that are at lower price points as well too. But ultimately, gadgets like this, man, you don't get this one. You get the next one, right? It's like gadgets like this. There's certain devices, there's certain like electronics that you don't get the first one that hits the market. You get the Vision Pro Plus or whatever, because what's coming. Apple is notorious for doing that. They'll put out different variations. Maybe the next version will be a different color or have some slight capability. What are the cases? I think there was even rumors that they might be a more affordable one as well too, because of course they led with the Pro. So if this was the Vision Pro, usually there might be just the Apple Vision, and then maybe this is the Apple Vision Pro. Maybe there's an Apple Vision Pro Plus, things of that nature. But all that ultimately, I would say, in my personal opinion, of course, there's fanatics that are going to be readily available to go and grab this as soon as it's, made available. I personally would choose to maybe wait until the next one comes. Not this one, catch the next one. If that requires you to be a little bit more patient, so be it. But again, ultimately, the last video I spoke on, of course, was me speaking on Elon Musk and his brain chip. I see a world where slowly but surely these two start to merge as well too. That's another reason why I wanted to speak on this as well too. This for now is solely working on the headset. I do kind of somewhat think of, some of the pros, some of the cons. I'm thinking long-term use. I think the battery life on it as well too was somewhere listed at maybe like 2 hours. But I'm thinking like, how does this affect long-term use? Because I do see, it's very capable. If people are already spend a lot of times on their phones and in front of screens as is, their video games, their TV screens, their phone screens, I could only imagine what this headset would do in terms of usage. I see people spending way more hours using this thing as well too, because it's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty cool. The technology that they're doing, some of the capabilities are pretty cool. So I only wonder the long-term effects on, people's eyesight, people's, hearing, or whatever, case is. Being in one place for one time, sitting in a corner of your room and, having your headset on, I could only imagine what that would do in the long-term effects. But again, for short-term use, collaborative, creative settings, things of that nature, and again, some entertainment, enjoying a good show, enjoying a good movie, music, things of that nature, I think all of that would be pretty cool. But yeah, man, I'm not anti-technology. This is cool. I would want this to be gifted to me or given to me by an employer. I don't know. Even if I had a spare 10,000, I don't know if I want to spend 3,500 on a headset. And again, I want to see its full capabilities and the next version that maybe comes out as well too, for me to make me feel like, all right, that's money well spent. As of now, I don't think it's money well spent, but that's just my personal opinion. But if I worked for an employer and they said, hey, do you want a laptop or a headset? I'm picking a headset 100%. If somebody wanted to gift me this somewhere down the line, hey, I'm not going to turn it down. But me personally using my hard-earned dollars to go purchase this on its release, nah, I typically might just wait for the next one. But questions, comments, concerns, man. This is the future, folks. This is the future. What do you guys think, man? This is what things are going to look like. And this is just the early stage, right? So this is set to release 2024. What does 2026 look like? What does 2030 look like? What does 2035 look like if this is the foundation, right? So again, man, you could hate it or love it, but things are indeed changing, especially when it comes to technology and the capabilities that not only humans will have, but the devices that we use such a day to day. I see a world where we don't even have phones. Maybe it is all just going to be internal. But when it comes to actually putting a chip in my brain, I think I draw the line there. We can play with the headsets all day. When you start telling me to carve out a section of my brain and insert a chip through my skull, yeah, I think you lose me there. What are your thoughts, people? Are you excited for the new technology coming in the future? What do you think? Let me know. Comment below. I will catch you on the next one.